Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you have sometimes a lack of motivation when it comes to learning languages, but you like gaming, then you found the right video. Los geht's! My name is Dustin. I'm an IT project manager from Germany, and on this channel we create content that helps us to be more productive, to learn new things, especially languages, and to live a happier and more fulfilling life. Today, in the first part of this new mini-series about how gaming can facilitate and improve our language learning, we will have a look at why it is a good idea to use gaming for language learning, what kind of different games there are actually, and when to start using it. First of all, a brief introduction into gaming and language learning. Let's have a look at the different attributes that gaming has, which are relevant for language learning. It can motivate you a lot. Like for example, if you have a look at World of Warcraft, with that addiction spiral. You can immerse into a different world with an interesting story and great dialogues, which means compelling and comprehensible input. Progress is visible with levels, experience, reputation and all that kind of stuff. Further, you get rewards all along the way, like new items and abilities. This also motivates a lot. And it can be social if you need to work together with other people in order to achieve your goals and to fulfill your quests and all that kind of things. So you learn teamwork. Playing video games can feel like a total waste of time because you're not progressing towards your life goals. Of course, there's nothing wrong about playing video games for fun, in a moderate doses. Now let's have a look at the attributes of language learning in general. It can give you more opportunities in life, professionally and personally. Also, it's good for your brain health because it's like training for your mind. Learning, if done wrong, can also be dry, boring and demotivating, like the grammar book style in school back then. So it's a long way to get fluent in a language. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And sometimes it is hard to see progress. And now let's combine language learning and gaming. If you can unite the factors of both, you can create a really valuable language learning resource. You learn new skills and it doesn't feel like a waste of time anymore. The immersion into another world, combined with the language immersion, can make the process really interesting and anything else than boring or dry. Tu seras là. You can use all those mechanisms, the addiction spiral, to play in your favor. We can also profit from context-based learning, which means that the vocabulary and the things you learn are connected to places and people in the game, which then means, on the other hand, that you create an emotional connection in your head, in your brain, and this will stick way longer than if you just learn from dry textbooks. Also, you can profit from a technique called task-based learning. Let me quote here. Task-based language teaching, also known as task-based instruction, focuses on the use of authentic language to complete meaningful tasks in the target language. If you apply that to gaming, it would mean, for example, you would need to read the quest text to know where to find monster XYZ or where to find a specific item and then go there and then grab it and bring it back. So in order to solve the task at hand, you need to use language. But language is not a task itself, but the tool to solve the task. Like language is a tool in our day-to-day life to communicate with other people. Also, you can potentially get to know other people in your target language. Let's have now a look at the different types of games for language learning. First of all, a small disclaimer. I'm only talking here about virtual games, and I identified 3 different types of games while doing the research for this video. First category is gamification and language learning apps. So you have an app that is supposed to teach you a language, and the different aspects within this application are gamified. One example for that would be Drops, where you can learn vocabulary pretty effortless in a gamified kind of manner. I already created a video about that, so if you're interested, yeah, I can highly recommend this app. Also, the most downloaded language learning app worldwide, Duolingo, is using gamified aspects to teach you a language, or to try to teach you a language. Next category would be games specifically designed for language learning. So those are real games with a focus of teaching you a language along the way. The game mechanics also aim to teach a language, and it's clearly part of the gameplay. This could be task-based, that you need the language in order to solve quests, to move forward in the story for a non-linguistic outcome. I haven't found a language learning game like this yet, but this would be ideal. Or it can be clearly with a linguistic outcome, like for example vocabulary matching stuff or something like that. which can get boring after a while or not work out at all. Popular games, for example, would be Influent, where you actually learn vocabulary by walking around looking at them and in small mini games, or Learn Japanese to Survive, which is like a small RPG where you're supposed to learn vocabulary. Now the category on which we are actually focusing at, regular games used for language learning. We can combine the strengths of video games with the usefulness of language learning to get the best out of both worlds. In order to be a valuable language learning resource, they should be task-based, that you need to use the language as a tool to solve tasks for a non-linguistic outcome. Dialogue-based, to improve your reading and listening comprehension, so it should have ideally also audio support in your target language if possible. Third, probably games you're already familiar with, especially if you're at a lower intermediate stage. And fourth, if you want to improve your writing and speaking abilities, it should be an online game where you have to communicate with other players. World of Warcraft, for example, has been translated into many languages, and there are servers all around the world for different areas, like there are German servers, French servers, English servers, of course, Japanese, and so on. There has been even a study that has shown that World of Warcraft and other games like this provide an excellent setting for language learning, because it encourages collaboration and exploration. And this study even cited other research that has shown that games like World of Warcraft build their linguistic competence and confidence. Okay, so when should we start using video games for language learning? This depends on the type of games mainly. So for beginners like A1, A2 level, the first two categories of games would make sense. So gamified apps or games for language learning. Those are specifically made for beginners in a language, with lots of repetition and stuff. Also, you could try regular games, but made for children. But on the other hand, those often don't have compelling input and get boring. For intermediate learners and advanced learners, regular games can make the most sense. All the synergy effects from learning languages combined with playing video games can be utilized. So the conclusion is, games are a great resource for language learning, if done right. And the attributes of gaming and language learning complement each other perfectly. It should serve as an addition to your learning. If you're already playing video games, you have nothing to lose, right? Please let me know in the comments down below if you have already used gaming for language learning, and which ones exactly. If you like this video, then the next part of this mini-series is also something for you, where we'll have a look at some of the best video games for learning languages. Also, make sure to like this video and to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and see you the next time.